What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Erislandy Lara. Lara is in negotiations to fight Argentinian's Brian Castano. You know, Brian Castano is an undefeated fighter, a young fighter, 27 years of age, or 28. He has a long, extensive amateur career, and he had some good wins in his amateur career. He's defeated Earl Spence Jr., he's defeated Deverenchenko, and many others, and he's fresh, he's young, he's sharp, and, Lara knows that he can't play with this guy. He knows that this is a do-or-die fight for him. That's what he said for himself. It's a make it or break it. And Lara, it being 34 years of age now, or I think 35. Lara's 35 years of age, and he lost his last fight, and he lost his belt to Jared Hurd in a very good fight. It was one of the candidates of the year kind of fight. He was dropped in the 12th round, and I think the knockdown differentiated the win for Hurd, because it was a close fight, a very close fight, and Hurd applied the pressure. We've been there, we've done that. Now, the present, the future is Brian Castano. Brian Castano is a young, sharp guy. He kind of puts you in the mind of I think of him, I think of Victor Ortiz, but not a southpaw, because he's very aggressive. And the problems I see offhand, me looking at tapes of this guy, is his speed and his pressure. That's what's going to bother Lara. Lara's a pure boxer. Anytime you match up a pure boxer, mostly with a guy that likes to apply pressure, you're going to have a difficult fight, because boxers need space. They need distance, to set up their punches, to set up their jab, their hooks, their uppercuts, their straights. They need that space. They need that time, because if they don't, they're going to get smothered. See, a pressure fighter will smother you. Now, the good thing about Castano, I see he's not a 100% pressure fighter. Probably because of his amateur career, because he knows he can box. A lot of times he chooses to box. But in this case, if he goes in and tries to box Lara, he probably will lose. But at that point, when he finds out that's not successful, he will start ripping punches to the body and going for the gusto like he's been doing. I seen him fight a guy named Itu. And it was a very entertaining fight. And Itu looked like he had some class. I don't know what his record was. I didn't really go into his extensive background. But he looked like he was game, definitely. So the speed, definitely the pressure is what's going to bother Lara when he fights, if they fight. I would prefer Lara fighting someone like Tony Harrison. That would be a good fight to me. But maybe this is an Al Heyman thing, because, Al Heyman, I think what he does for certain fighters, he throws them in a sink or swim situation and see how they come out. Look at Adrian Broner. All of a sudden, Adrian Broner has this, has this pay-per-view fight with Manny Pacquiao, but, he could have put him in there with somebody easier, but, they wanted to match make him, and then see where he's at in his career to see if he, sinks or swims. And they're doing the same thing to Erislandy Lara, and Lara, has a lot of close losses. A lot of times I think he had the shitty end of the stick, basically, because his record should be a lot different. If I could compare him to anybody in his career, I compare him to Pernell Whitaker, because of Pernell Whitaker's, unfortunate, opportunities or disopportunities or situations where he did not get the win, and there are a lot of people thought, like Chavez, he got a draw. He clearly beat Chavez. De La Hoya was another one. And, so it leaves you bitter when you have fights like that. But, Lara doesn't really seem to be too bitter about certain things, so I hope he can keep his head up and focus in there. But I would like to see the fight nonetheless, because it looks like a very interesting matchup, But, me being a Lara fan, because I like his boxing style, his ring IQ. He's a very intelligent fighter in there. But this guy, Brian Castano, he's an exciting fighter also, you know, because he comes in, he likes to break the guard, you know, and we'll see what happens with that. But anyhow, if Lara does win, he does get a WBA regular title, so he will be a title holder, so he can have some kind of bargaining again. Hopefully he can get back in there with Jared Hurd, since Charlo was defeated by Tony Harrison. You know what I'm saying? But we don't know what's going to happen with that. If the rematch is, you know, a rematch clause was on or whatnot. So we don't know where Lara could go if he beats Castano, right? So we just have to see what happens, if he'll fight Castano or not, if the fight gets made or whatnot. But this is a make it or break it fight for Erislandy Lara. So I'm just letting you guys know about that. You guys tell me what you think about this matchup. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been counterpunched. Peace.